You're going to the village.
In-laws. You're going to the village, whatever kind of village you're going to, or whatever. Just
busy
enjoy.
cousin syndrome. Busy cousin syndrome is waiting for you. Hi guys, welcome to this episode of the Unpopular Opinion. I'm Prim.
I'm Kemi.
Claire.
We are real,
Raw, and we're saying it all.
So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everything. We are going to cover a few topics that are very, the season is coming. You're going to congregate with relatives. So today we are going to talk about relatives and marriage or family dynamics, or for people who are in relationships. Relatives, because if I say family dynamics, that will bring into the topic of black tax, which we'll cover definitely another time. But today we're going to talk about family and relatives and marriage. Okay.
So
and relationships, in-laws and nieces and nephews and that whole thing.
Okay.
And I know that as Africans, we are very communal people. We are very family-oriented people. We grow up in community. That's the one thing that people say who live in certain parts of, say, Europe and stuff. You'll notice that when a Ugandan moves or relocates, or an African, you have quite a hard time, because the community is not there. So Africans are very communal people. And we want to talk about living with your relatives as a married person. Claire, would you live with your relatives, with your husband's relatives? Or your relatives?
She's like, absolutely not. She can't even talk. Have you ever seen The Boss Babe speechless?
I didn't expect me to go first. No.
Okay.
The end.
The end. Okay.
Period.
Fiona.
Okay. I don't want to just say no because I don't know. I feel like circumstances can shock you. And I'm also, I guess Claire can know more clearly because she's already married. She already knows, I don't know, I guess your dynamic, your setup. I keep imagining I marry someone who is super communal. What next for me? What next for me, friends? Me who has lived alone for X years.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I feel like it would be, what I know is it would be a huge adjustment. Huge, because even my family, we've only grown up. 5 of us in the house. No, 6 for the most part. For the most part, we've been 6. Like and that's including my parents. Me, my sister, brother, and our other brother. I don't know. I think it would stress me a lot. I'm not used.
Interestingly, I grew up with a big family. I like all my brothers and sisters. We're 3 with my mom and dad, but I have so many brothers and sisters that I grew up with, and I really, really enjoyed it. But now as an adult, I see how my mom could have struggled. Could have. Yes.
Yeah, you couldn't see it at the time.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. We enjoyed having so many. Like we were so many at home, and they were older, so were the younger ones. I would wait till they were in boarding school, around for them to come home for board
with stories,
stories and dances and all sorts of songs and whatnot. It was so much fun growing up in a big family with our relatives, sisters and brothers, but. Now that I'm an adult,
now that you're older,
I look back
POV
how difficult. There's so many things my mom would say or comment on and stuff. She hasn't told us her entire experience. But I can see it now. From and I see how difficult it was.
I'm glad.
And I, as much as I loved it as a child, I don't think I'd enjoy it as an adult, and I don't think I would opt for it. Now I don't have a problem helping if I must, my close relatives, but from afar.
I hear you.
From afar. However, because you asked me if I'd let my husband's family, I love my husband's family, by the way. I love them.
But you see, it doesn't mean that you don't love them.
I love them dearly. They have been so good to me and stuff. His mom, if his mom needed care, the truth is, I prefer not to, even my mom. I prefer for us not. When I had my baby, I didn't go to my mom's house. We're all adults. It's hard for adults to, you've been used to your own space. She's been used to her own space. Yeah. And now you're together.
Yeah.
And
there's always discomfort.
Yes, it creates
it's
a lot
the
of
truth
discomfort.
of the matter.
It's the truth.
So although I love her, if we absolutely must, yes,
Yeah.
with my mother-in-law. If like one of my sisters, you know, like passes away and their kids and stuff, I might take care of their kids, but I am not blind to the challenge, and I would rather not.
Yeah.
But
That's
if you
honest,
say,
yeah.
will you? No. But the nuances, it's a bit
There are many moving parts, right?
It's a lot
true.
trickier.
Yeah.
But you know, first of all, I feel like now that even me speaking from like here, I know that it would be such a difficult thing. It would be such a difficult position to be in. One, there's some challenges that come with that.
Yeah.
And yet, I was raised by another person. I grew up with my Aunt Molly. And we were at a party, and I told her, I'm going to give you your flowers while you're still alive. Like, Claire, now that I'm older, I recognize the challenges she must have had
having you.
Having, yes, me and my two siblings at home, you get, when my dad passed. And, you know, and we went to live with my uncle and his wife, my aunt. But now this is the challenge that people do not recognize. We were relatives to her husband, right? But my uncle was never available. He was not the one that shaped me. He's not the one that raised us. My aunt did that. And that's the thing that's for me why this is a topic that I chose for us to talk about. The fact that we don't recognize that it is the women that carry these relatives.
Yeah.
And yet the challenges are that probably your mom, say my mom, or the people on your husband's side are thinking, oh, what a nasty woman. Oh, that woman is blah, blah, blah. She doesn't like us, she hates us. But to tell you the truth, for anyone watching this episode and you're staying at, say, your brother's house, or you're staying with your stepmom or your aunt, or, you know, we need to extend kindness to those women, because they are the very reason we are in that home. You get? Those women are the ones that nurture you. Your brother will say, come and I pay your school fees and raise you. Yes.
That's it. That's all.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. He'll make sure that your school fees is paid.
You're fed.
You're fed. Full stop. But everything that you will become
day to day,
small nitty-gritties will be that woman.
True.
And when I gave my aunt her flowers, when I told her thank you for raising us, I also highlighted that you shaped me so greatly. Because lately, staying with relatives has become such a hard thing that you'll find someone saying, oh, my sister-in-law will sleep the entire day. She will not even watch. She's dirty. She's blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, have you told her this? And you find someone saying, but Antwaza Mukubi, I don't want them to
misunderstand
me.
We are so afraid of stepping on toes.
Thank you.
And being misunderstood that there's a lot of friction that is not dealt with.
Yeah, it's not even, it's like unspoken.
Yes.
Just
and
tense.
everyone dislikes each other, but no one is saying
just
anything.
tense.
Yeah. So I think that's why I'd because for me I would.
That's
quiet.
why everyone.
That's one of the reasons I would not.
That's the reason a lot of people would not.
Yeah.
You get.
Yeah.
And for me, when I told my aunt, I told her, thank you for actually telling us the truth. Thank you for not letting us just become useless and just like for going through life.
Yeah.
Because my aunt was very firm and she was very, she was very tough. She was all those things. And to tell you the truth, there are things I do for myself today and I know it's because of her.
Yeah.
There are lessons she's taught me that I know my mom would not have taught me. You get. But it's because she didn't do that whole, if I say something and their uncle thinks I'm making them suffer. If they think I'm making them suffer, you understand. So anyway, living with relatives comes with its challenges.
Yeah.
It comes with its challenges.
Yes.
And I know that these challenges are so many, and we'll definitely ask the audience to also, continue this conversation in the comments. But number one that I want us to start with. Now, let us first of all, before we go into the challenges, relatives, come from both sides.
Yes.
It could be yours.
It could be yours, or your husband's, or your partner's side. But have you noticed how most times the woman's relatives are the ones that will come into the home and be more comfortable?
That's true.
Like sit in very well, be more comfortable and enjoy the privileges.
It's very true.
Actually, it's
Of
true. I'm
those two
thinking
people,
back.
Because the
And
home is made by the woman, so
because I'm thinking about it. And
Do
I'm
get
like, my
as
mom's
well,
people
yeah.
are
Really?
way more
Yeah.
comfortable
Yes.
As well.
than my
They'll
dad's
come
people.
in and be more comfortable.
Yeah.
So
it's
now,
true.
this makes us pose a question. As a woman, do you think as women we don't extend as much kindness and comfort to the relatives from our husband's side?
Two things come to mind. I feel like there's no yes or no. Okay, from when I think about it, because first of all, you're just a human being who is naturally biased.
gravity, yeah.
When your people come, of course, it's a lot easier for you. See, they're your guys. And then when other people come, you're trying, and sometimes your trying can come off. It can also be misunderstood.
Yeah.
You can be trying. Okay. So you can be trying, and people think, oh, wow, I don't know. You know, have you guys, you know how women and men also are as if interpreted differently? It's just like how everyone talks about the mother-in-law, the mother-in-law, the mother-in-law, the stepmom, the stepmom, the stepmom. No one says the stepdad or the father-in-law, whatever.
Yeah.
There's always like a negative, the woman, the woman, the woman. So I feel like sometimes also people come into your home
Automatically expecting.
they're ready for you to
yeah.
like repel them somehow. Any little thing you do, even if it's not intentional, somehow may be interpreted badly, and not because they are bad people, but we have biases. We come without a million biases. It could have been even one thing you said one time, and they're like, yeah, you remember she said that one thing. It has, we are going to her house, prepare.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't even know if it's a yes or no. I feel like some women are definitely trying to make you feel at home, but you've come with your biases. She's also there wondering, how do I make these people bikawa without feeling bad? So you're also there awkward.
Everyone's walking on eggshells.
It's awkward, it's weird.
So it's definitely easier. Like, let's say my sister and living with my sister who I've lived my entire life with.
Then with your
Or any
sister.
of my sisters, actually.
Yeah.
Any of my, I have many. Any of my sisters. Or my husband's sister, who by the way I love. I love them. I love his family. It's naturally going to be much easier to live
With your
with mine.
sister.
Although I love my
Yeah.
husband's
Yeah.
sisters, I obviously gravitate more toward, and there's some things that I do, they'd be like, but then there are some things they do that I'd be like, do you get what I mean? So it's obviously easier to live apart and just meet out from outside. That's just the general truth, you know. However much you love, I mean, even with my sister we have clash.
It's not a question
I
of
cannot
love,
live with my
actually.
sister. It's
It's
not
not
a
even
question
about
of love. Yeah, it's just about more. It's just you're closer to your family. Obviously,
You can love people and not want to live with them. You know, families, we can love them and not want to be near them.
Like I
Yes.
cannot live with
Yeah.
my sister. Me and my sister cannot live together.
Yeah.
We can't.
You love each other better from afar.
Much like we're so different in our living style.
Actually, I think even my sister and I are like
It's
that.
just
We love each other more when we are living. When we started living apart, I feel like we became closer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I talked about that is that I like looking back, like now, like you know how there's a memory that occurs to you. My dad put my mom's siblings through school. Like he educated them. He educated I think their last two of her last siblings. And yet I don't know, like it was a memory that was erased. And yet I remember when my aunt from my Senga, my dad's sister, would come. It would be for a few days and she goes away. Few days and she goes away. But we lived with these people like permanently. So I remember thinking, so when I was like typing in points for this topic, I was like, interesting, because this is actually something that I've seen in so many homes.
Yeah.
The siblings of the woman will come and permanently live in that home. Permanently. please
Relaxed.
note. Relaxed, permanently live there. You even fight with your sister in your own home. She's staying there, she's not talking to you in your own
It's
home.
her, yeah.
But when your husband's, you know,
family.
people, family are the ones that have come, like say his young sister, you're just always going to him of, please be the one to go and tell your sister to wake up and go and do dishes. You be the one to tell your sister that we don't allow people to watch TV up to 2 a.m. Your sister recently brought a man in the gate. She was recently found. So are you that person? Are you that person, like, if you're like when it comes to relatives, are you that person? We need to check ourselves.
Interesting. I believe that if you've chosen to live with these people, you have to extend some level of grace.
Yeah.
And know that these are different people. So
Yeah.
for them, what they're used to is watching TV until 2 a.m. it might be irritating. So it just might be irritating.
This is why it's hard.
It's
hard, yeah.
You even feel like this topic is confusing.
I'm
even confused.
Even just husband and wife. When you get married, there's so many things that you'll be like,
I can imagine.
What planet did this person grow up in?
Yes,
you know? And then he also looks at you like,
what up?
That's actually one of the challenges.
You know, so you can imagine now extended family who you have no obligation to.
Yeah.
And you know,
you didn't choose them. You chose the husband.
They have been bestowed on you by force. You know, and so, but often my mom, obviously, my mom is my kind of model with these things. She was gracious. My mother was very gracious. When I see how she raised all of us, we were so many kids and only 3 of them were hers. You know, we were so many kids. There was obviously issues when kids were teenagers and stuff like that. There was a bit of friction and things like that. There was definitely. We didn't know it when we were kids, but it was there. And I just saw how she was gracious, but she also protected herself. And she also protected us.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh.
My mom, for her, and my dad, by the way, also the men have a lot to do with it.
True.
Absolutely.
Do not make my dad, you do not make his wife uncomfortable in his home. There was a line.
Yeah.
You get? There was a line for all of us. My mother came first. No one else.
I love that.
Does that make sense? So my mom made the rules. If it was dinner, we would all sit at the dinner table. Dinner was at 6. Dinner was at 6. Everybody at the dinner table. I don't know. I don't care. You get, and all these rules, we all grew up with rules like my mother had said. So she herself was, generally speaking, comfortable, you know. But obviously there are things that happen that make you uncomfortable, as you don't know what to do, you don't know what to do.
How to
you know, I remember my mom inherited this. My dad's family, a lot of my siblings lost their parents so they came with my dad. You get, my mom inherited them, so she didn't have practice run. She just walked in and we were there. Do you know what I mean? When her and my dad got married, so she was, my mom got married, she was younger than I was. She was 29 when she got married. So you can imagine, I would have no clue what to do with 12 kids, you know, on top of my own, my sister and I. Do you know what it was quite, I can imagine how challenging it must be for women in this kind of situation. But the men make it so much easier.
If they're on your
If
side.
they are on your side.
Your partner, if they're on your side.
They actually need to be your partner, like in the sense of the word, because you know, like how we're saying, women are judged so very differently.
Harshly.
Men are judged, not even judged.
You
guys,
just
a
man could make this decision.
Welcome, husband of ours.
Thank you.
Oh wow, he bought us soda. Wow, I love him so much.
You know, a man could make a decision. You know, you could both sit in the bedroom, and your husband is the one that comes out and says, "Oh, we are so sorry, we can't have you because we don't have space to accommodate you."
And
people are like,
the wife that refused
immediately.
So many times.
Immediately.
Yes.
It's so.
People don't even know that your husband is the one who doesn't like having relatives over. There's so many nice women out there that are very willing to have people in their homes over, but their husband is like,
please.
Me, people of my family, they'll live in the house to tell you, I tell that aunt is like this or that, don't bring her kids, don't. But then people just be like, he was okay, but the wife is the problem.
So man,
anyway,
that partner needs to be supportive.
Before you open up your home to relatives, there are things that you need to know. There are challenges that come with it.
Yeah.
Number 1, your children, space, right? And I'm talking about everyday people, like, because we are seated here, and that means that the kind of house we have is probably like, say, in a world where we are successful and we own a home, each of us, it's like, say, a 3-bedroom house. So you're bringing in, let's say, 3 or 4 people. That means you have to be agreeable to sharing space. Or, you know, you're going to have to deal with the fact that your space is going to be evaded.
Yeah.
You go, you know, there are people who get irritated by the fact that you went to the kitchen, you found someone there. As you're passing the corridor, there's someone there. As you, like, there's just no space in your home.
Actually, I feel like traumatized because you're reminding me of a time. There was a time when we lived in a small apartment. So there's 3 of us, and that apartment had 2 bedrooms. So of course my parents have their bedroom. The other bedroom was 3 of us. Then would be there. Auntie X is coming
and you know
with her husband. So of course that bedroom which we were staying in, there was one big bed and one double decker. So on the double decker, I think my brother used to sleep. My brother and sister were on it. Then usually I used to be on the other bed. So surprise, of course, Fiona has to go and I have to share with one of my siblings. And then these new people who don't
get to
sleep
nice
on our
bed.
bedroom, in our bedroom. Even looking for your panty is like. You just you wake up like at twilight, so that you can do all your activities. So and quietly, so that I remember I used to, and I'm like
stress you.
And of course, I know even my parents used to stress them. Of course, sometimes they just be wanting to. Anyway, now this auntie Bambi, let's just make some space for them. But I know it also used to hurt them of Mananga, our children. That's but also they're trying to extend and help someone. You guys, it's very uncomfortable actually.
Actually. You know, and now I think about it, we were never really meant to. I never felt uncomfortable. I was so used to being in a big family where if other people came, it was just the more the merrier. You get for me.
Yeah.
However, right now we're in different spaces. We're in different. You know, we're not as communal as we were then. And my child's comfort, because it's their home. It's my child's home.
Yeah.
You know, worked. I need my child to feel 100% comfortable in their home. I can give you a mattress and you sleep in that. If I don't have extra bedrooms, my child is not the one going to. You're the one who came from your home. You have a home. Why are you here in my home? Do you get what I mean?
Sometimes you're the only Kampala relative, you know, especially for like people who come from the west.
I used to be coming from Rwanda.
I come from the central. So
people will be coming from Rwanda, so where do you want them to stay?
No, I don't mind them coming here to my home, but I'll give you a mattress in the living room. Do you get what I mean? What I would like to, anyway, I'm talking from a space of privilege because we don't.
You haven't had that.
We never had. We had a.
But also your village is very close, Claire.
Yeah, we didn't have people coming from Smanyawea.
From where?
You know, and if they did, by the way, they would sleep in the living room. We never ever had to. Only when my cousins would come over, obviously, is when we would all bunk together. Yes, we would all bunk together. But never when an adult was there did they make us move from our rooms to the floor or whatever. They would sleep in there was a couch in the living room space that turned into a bed that was specific.
You guys were in America.
I think I'm glad we were poor because we had no room to move to.
You guys were in America. You had the other couches we used to see on TV.
I know, right? It's still there. My mom still has a couch that. So anytime, like if there's anything and someone has to sleep over, you sleep in the couch in the. We
didn't even have the couch for you. Anyway, we're the poor relatives. No one can come there. So we were the ones looking for a place to go. But yeah, so another thing that you're opening yourself up to, you're opening your life up to. It's like you guys, when you allow relatives, when you allow relatives in your home, it's like you're saying, here I am, naked. I come to you naked, bearing my soul on this plate. Do with it what you want. You get either this person will choose to be kind, a shagatari, like a kubumba bumbe. You want like keep your things, or they will understand that this person living with me is a human being and they have a weakness, and you will walk through life together, or
the alternative.
I don't even know how Uncle so and so manages that woman. Do you know first of all, they'll even say things like, do you know she doesn't cook? As for this modern day era woman who wakes up to go to work, you leave your kids with
in your high heels.
In your high heels. They'll be like, oh, she even comes late in the night. Like, I don't even know if that man has eaten in a long time.
Women have suffered.
I don't know if that man eats food at home. Or that woman, even her kids. Do you know that she doesn't see her kids? And Bambi, this woman is already dealing with the guilt of finding her child asleep and leaving.
But she has to work.
But she has to work so that you're comfortable.
Because your relative, the man, you need some supplement.
Some supplement, thank you.
So that the bills at the home, so you can live. Thank you.
So you can live with them. You're opening your life up to scrutiny. You're opening your life up to people knowing your business. That times you disagree, these people are going to be there.
WhatsApping your other family members.
I feel like that's where now the husband has the biggest role in protecting his wife.
It can only do so much.
It can only do so much. Because is the man going to go
in your own bedrooms, in your own spaces?
Even if you do, they'll scrutinize you for things that
they'll scrutinize you anyway.
Petty.
They'll scrutinize you anyway. But for me, what I don't know doesn't hurt. You get what I mean? Obviously, people have scrutinized me as well. Pretty sure some of my in-laws may probably have scrutinized me. I am not your everyday wife, you know. And I get it. I get it. It's a difference in thinking, but I don't know about it. I have never heard about it.
So it's all right.
As far as I know, they are lovely. We like each other. We go to family hangouts. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But also because if my husband hears it, he doesn't come bring it to me. Does that make sense?
Sometimes there's always a cousin to your husband who doesn't like the entire family, who will be telling you these things. You guys really do you know this? There's always a cousin who will be your buddy, who is not a buddy to the family. That will be like, do you know that your aunt hates you? She said this and that and that. But anyway, the thing is that when you tell your husband that they're saying these things, you know how men would dismiss it off as women also. You
guys, my husband would call whoever said it. My husband would call whoever said it.
I want to let you know there are not many men that do.
My husband
they are not there.
Would call whoever said it and
They're
say,
not
kindly
many.
keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
My God.
Anyone who said
those
it.
people are not there.
There are few.
My dad was like that as well.
I feel like guys, for the most part, are trying to be neutral.
Thank you.
And just like make everyone happy.
Thank you, yeah.
So they don't want to. I think that's why even this whole thing with mothers-in-law is
it's at
so.
the cost
Because
of
the
the
guy
wife, though.
is seeing his mom has done something, not right to you, but he can't like
who
say
would you rather
something.
hurt?
But also
The wife.
he doesn't want you. So he's like, you
He
know
would
what?
rather
When the
hurt
wife
the
is
wife
there,
because you're like, now for you, Landers, you
You
forgive me.
forgive me. You have no
You're the
choice.
one who will forgive
but now
me.
my mom.
My mom, now her. Now
It's
my
such a-
sister, now my aunt.
But and I feel like even grace, often when these are three parties: the wife, the husband, and the family.
Yeah.
Each party needs to have grace. Otherwise, you cannot maneuver. Otherwise, you're going to have a miserable life. But also, talk about these situations before they happen.
Thank you.
Before you marry a
Thank
man.
you. Thank you.
Before you marry a
Thank you.
woman,
Discuss.
talk about
Thank
these
you.
things.
I'm glad. Do you know?
Lay down your absolute.
Do you know, it's a conversation we had
non-negotiable.
yesterday with my partner. That's why it is in these topics today. I told him, by the way, let us just be knowing that going forward, for me, this is this and that and that
These
and
are
that.
lines.
These are the lines. Yeah, these are important conversations that we should have when we are still dating people.
That's true.
Yeah.
How do you feel about my relatives coming to live with us? How do I feel about your relatives coming to, like, under what circumstances?
Yeah.
Because
And by the way, don't fool yourself into thinking you can when you can't.
When you can't.
Just because the man is nice looking and you will suffer. You really, really will suffer.
And especially we are speaking to the women because they're the ones
They're
that
the ones
do
who
most
make
of the work.
compromises and they are ones
Yeah,
that
like
do
even
the
when it
most
comes
extra
to
work.
like say hosting your family, your husband's family or your family. This person will be like, yes, or even just like his birthdays, oh, they're coming to catch football from here. Please not. You're not going to leave them there. It's because he's just trying to tell you that figure out what to cook, figure out what they'll eat.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, he will just shine. That Manange went so and so.
Kumbe, you're slaving away in the kitchen.
Yet scenes. You're slaving away in the kitchen. You are like.
And I find, because we've often been told that these kind of situations are not good. They could be beautiful. I believe they could be beautiful. And you can say for me no, and you end up having to do it. For instance, if my siblings, let's say, passed away and they had children, obviously their children would come live with me. Or if there are circumstances in which what do you want? What do you do? But just look into your heart, because at the end of the day, your heart condition is what the motives. That. And hopefully you don't get relatives that are difficult. But if you do, you need to make a plan. What do you do? If you have relatives that are difficult, fortunately for me, I've never been in a situation. Maybe my mom was. I don't know. She has never really talked about in detail her experience. But generally speaking, I've seen it can work. And we are very close to both sides of my family. My dad's been gone for 7 years this month. And we're still very close to his people, our siblings that we grew up with. Like, they do not miss a single thing. They come for everything. We meet and we talk like siblings, like we grow up, And it's really lovely. It's really good that we have older siblings you know, that we can talk to about A, B, C, and D, that can help us out with the A, B, C, and D. So it can be beautiful. It can. It's not always bad. It's not always bad. But again, it takes three to tango in this particular case.
It's just hard.
A good man
it's hard. You have to recognize
good things can be hard.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
It took, for our family situation, it took a good man that protected his wife, who was good enough. Take care. You guys, we were many. We were not two. There were not two extra kids. There were many, and one graduates, gets married, another one enters, like that.
Yeah.
Until because we were much younger, like 8, 9, 10 years younger than the youngest.
Yeah.
So until I was about 16, when the last one left and went to uni, got a job and stuff, we're still very, very close. But all those years, 16 years. But even now, my mom is still their mom.
Yeah.
You know, and it can happen. You can still have a really good blended family that is beautiful and nice. There's challenges, just accept that. If you're going to take it on with challenges.
With the knowledge.
Yes, with the knowledge that there are challenges.
But also with the knowledge that people have been raised in different backgrounds. So you have to bear in mind what you're bringing into your family.
Yeah.
There's some children who are angry. There are children who are bitter, that there are children who have dealt with so much trauma in the past.
Yeah.
Some have been victims of rape, others have been victims of abuse, others have been victims of so many different circumstances. So before you bring them into your home, and you need to also ask yourself a question of, now that I take care of Ruth, I feel like it's sort of like adopting her. Now that I take care of Ruth, each time I'm making a decision for her, I ask myself, would I make the same decision for my child? You understand? And when I am choosing a school for her, I'm like, would I take my child to this school? Because now that I've decided to take care of her, I am going all out. So I rather not have started at all. You get? I am making this decision without going back. Like, I'm not going to reach a point where, I am like, this child has failed me and I am sending her back. No, you will not fail me. I will not let you. You get? So if I am making the decision to take care of kids, even in future, to take care of some other person's kids, it will be the fact that I am going all out. That means I'm going to punish your children. I am going to nurture them the same way I would have nurtured mine. And if that child has been a victim of, say, abuse, I need to go the extra mile of not saying, you know what, this child is like this and that, friends, I cannot give. They are going to spoil my child or things like that we tend to say. And be willing to look for therapy for this child. Be willing to do like so many things for this child. Because if it was your child, you would not easily just say, I've given up. Because who are you going to give them to? And if it was your child, you're not going to say, I'm not going to punish them because you get. So before we actually, even as people who decide to take in another person, before you open yourself up to, so you need to be ready. You need to ask yourself if you are ready to go the whole mile. Because you rather not start it at all. You rather not take on someone. You rather be honest with yourself and say, I don't think I am in the mental space to handle someone else. I don't think I have the, let's say, financial capability to take care of this person. Rather than start and then halfway, you're just like, let me just throw them back. Let me just...
I think there's a little bit more nuance to it though. I think it's more like you were lucky enough to get a good girl. She hasn't given you trouble. She hasn't given you... Like, children are difficult. Children are even your own kid. You sometimes be like, but isn't there a return button here? Do you get what I mean? There are times, and I never ever thought about it until I became a mom. And that God made us mothers in a special kind of way. That your child will do whatever.
They'll try you.
They will do whatever. You will never. That there's an instinctual love that you have for your own child that you will never feel for anyone else. Your child will do what and what and what. I've seen it the way when you give birth, you're in so much pain, but your child comes first. You are so tired, but your child comes first. The mom guilt, you never feel it in any other situation. Do you get what I mean? We're not blessed with that level of love for other people's children.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you get. It's easy for a mom to defend her own child who has done something gruesome, but not someone else, because we don't have that natural. You may love this child, but you will never, ever, ever, ever love them anywhere. You might even act. You might love them immensely, but when it comes to your child, it's a natural thing. You get. So it's easier. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to say on one and because you can
when
say it for your own
part,
child. Even with your own child, you're like, Benangi, what do I do? Unfortunately, that love, that natural love that we have as mothers, will not allow you to send your child away or whatever. Because of that natural love you get that was given to us, it's nowhere, and you will only ever feel it if you've given birth to a child. And if someone else does it, that's the same thing. Even however much love you have for this person,
it's easy to
a lot easier to give up on a child that is not yours. It's impossible to give up on a child that is yours. It's just impossible. And you know, because we are only human, there's only an extent, a threshold. The only people that surpass that threshold are our children. Not our husbands, not our mothers, not our friends, nothing. The only people who can press our buttons the way our children do is because they are children. And it's not even with fathers. I don't know if you've noticed, fathers let go very easily. Different. Mothers, it's just different.
I think
so when I say sometimes, let's not judge so much the people who say, you know what, I'm only human. There's only so much I can take. And send it back. Like they brought this child. No one brings a child in with bad intentions.
That's
maybe.
True. That's true.
But then sometimes you guys have seen kids. I know a late auntie of mine passed away, but she inherited one of my cousins, but on her husband's side. You guys, this child would burn her clothes, cut her shoes, all these things. Now, yes, the child had her own traumas because she lost her father, her parents, very, very young. So yes, therapy may have worked, but this is the stage. But my aunt never sent her back or anything, but she had a really, really difficult time. And now, as I'm older, I realize she was actually around her age. What would I do if I had a child that every time you buy shoes, they cut them? Do you know? And every time they burn things and they do all this, what would you do? If it was your own child, it's difficult enough, let alone someone else's child.
I'm glad you've talked about that, because all these things are so... Of course, it's good. Like when you were talking, I was like, it's so important for us to have that communication, to have all those conversations, and yet... I don't know, the difficult thing about being a human being is that you can never prepare for everything.
Yes. No, you can't.
Yes.
It's an important thing to have a conversation, because at least it gives you some place to start. And yet, guess what? You can never be prepared for everything.
That's true.
No matter what you do, things come and surprise you. You had drawn these lines, now the lines are like this, and you're like, so my friend, what are we going to do?
There's a whole different situation.
That's why I keep saying that. That's why I've said before that sometimes you set your non-negotiables.
And even with them,
non-negotiable that is not negotiable. You
Even
get there, they are there.
that's what I'm saying.
Even with them.
It's just a personal choice that you'd be like, you know what, whatever comes, comes.
You need to communicate in this life, because my guy. And so I think that's why recently someone was telling me that they met a couple that had been together for like really, really long time. You know how when you meet those couples, you're like, so how have you stayed together all this time? And they told this person that for them it was friendship. Like everything else is just going to
dwindle.
Hotness, everything. She's like, they were like, better be with a friend, because guess what? Things are just going to come at you left, right. Hey, all the things you planned, exploding in fire. Like, you know, it's like, just better be with your friend. Other things, I don't know.
On your
I don't know what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear some feedback from the audience, though. Like, how do you guys feel about relatives and those who live with relatives? Because let me tell you something. You find that about, let's say, 40% of our audience are living with cousins, a relative or two.
Maybe even more.
Yeah. Or even more. How are you guys doing it? How are you balancing it? How are you... What's some of the advice you can give to people who are, yet to get married and they find themselves in this kind of situation? But also, tell us some of the challenges you're facing. We'd just like to carry this conversation in the comments below. Please do not forget to subscribe, and turn your notification bell on so that you're notified each time we post. Thank you so much for watching.
We hope you enjoy your Christmas with your relatives. And
your
family,
you're going to the village.
In-laws. You're going to the village, whatever kind of village you're going to, or whatever. Just
busy
enjoy.
cousin syndrome. Busy cousin syndrome is waiting.
That's the one thing I used to miss. Like I used to admire about poor bigger families. Those things of we're going to the village with all our cousins, and by the time they're 20.
Cousin.
Us we are like
3.
In your home, not going anywhere.
We used to go to the village as well. It's so much fun.
Anyway,
I think we're going to the villages here as well. For Christmas. Well, my village is.
Your village is just when she says village.
It's City Square.
Yeah.
But all my siblings are going to be there, and hopefully their kids as well. So it's going to be exciting. I like that. So have a merry Christmas, you guys, and a wonderful holiday festive season.